Ford, meanwhile, announcing a $1.6 billion investment to upgrade 2 plants in Michigan and Ohio, part of a broader commitment to add more than 8,000 U.S. jobs over the next 4 years. This as Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump addresses the problems of large companies sending jobs to overseas outside the U.S.
Our jobs are being sucked away from our country, and we're not going to let it happen anymore, folks. Bottom line is, one of the big problems our country has is problems with trade, where you have China, Japan, Mexico, so many countries just ripping us left and right.
Joining us right now is Ford America's President Joe Hinrichs. Good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, Maria, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a big investment in the United States, and obviously this is going to be music to so many people's ears because so many are worried about jobs going to Mexico. Was that part of the decision to say, look, we're going to double down in the U.S. when you heard Donald Trump, basically, the last time you announced a plant in Mexico that you were investing in, was this part of it?
Well, Maria, we make investment announcements based on our product plan and what we have planned for the business. And in fact, we've created over 28,000 jobs in the U.S. in the last 5 years. So we've been focused on what it takes to have a competitive product out there and invest where we think it makes sense competitively. It has nothing to do with what's going on in politics, but everything to do with what's going on in the economy and our business as we compete globally.
Yeah, so tell me about this new investment in the U.S. You're going to create new jobs with this Ohio assembly plant, the Livonia assembly plant. Talk to us about how this will take place, the timing of it, and how many jobs you foresee creating.
Yeah, the excitement around the investment really is around 2 plants. Livonia transmission plant, which makes now a new 10-speed transmission, which will start in our new F-150 Raptor, which comes out this fall, and other F-150 products as we move on. And then also the investment in Ohio, which is to bring the Super Duty chassis cab production to that assembly plant so we can supplement our capacity in Kentucky. In total, it's about 650 jobs created as a part of all this investment. But more importantly, it's a continuation of all the investments we've made in the last 5 years. $12 billion in the U.S. just alone in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about big money and big job creation, which is really positive for America. But can you talk to us about basically this balance? You know, look, you're a company that has to answer to shareholders like all public companies and employees like all companies. So you've got several constituents that you are answering to, employees, shareholders, customers, obviously. Give us the difference in cost when you invest in America versus somewhere like Mexico.
Well, there are a lot of factors that go into it. Certainly, when you look at Mexico, there's a lower labor cost, as people call out often, but there's also a great supply base there. And importantly, Mexico has very strong trade agreements all around the world, which makes it a great location to locate when you're looking at a global scale. Here in the U.S., we have great workers. Of course, we invest significantly. Majority of our investments are here in the U.S. And what we're doing is we're moving some of our small car production to Mexico, where it's more competitive, frankly, in the small car segment to make money. But most of our SUV and truck production stays here in the U.S. And importantly, Maria, we make more vehicles in the U.S. than any other manufacturer, and we employ more manufacturing workers than anybody else in the U.S. So we're making that balance, as you mentioned, to all the stakeholders. But we think we've got it right because we're continuing to invest here and employing more people than anybody else.
Yeah, all of this in the face of, obviously, what was pretty contentious after the Mexico announcement, bringing somebody like a Donald Trump together with unions, because the unions were upset. Obviously, you did a new labor contract end of last year with the UAW. Can you characterize what you're seeing out there in terms of the broad environment, Joe? We debate every day on this program about the economy. Where does the auto sector and Ford stand right now in terms of what you're seeing in demand?
Well, we're coming off of a year in 2015 where all 3 countries in North America, Mexico, Canada, the United States, set record levels of sales. So the auto industry is kind of, at an all-time high right now. What we're seeing actually is things stabilizing a little bit, but at a very high level. If you look at the first quarter, demand and sales were up actually year over year in the U.S., so that's encouraging. And importantly, transaction prices were up as well, so that's a good sign. We are seeing weakness in some sectors like, Midland and, Houston area and Texas with the oil sector, but the housing market continues to evolve and continues to progress, and we're seeing employment pick up. So there are good signs. While we still have low interest rates, and low gas prices. Still a good time for the auto industry, but we're not seeing the growth we saw the last 5 years.
I see. Really interesting, because we did see a real recovery in those last 5 years. All of this in the face of what seems to be truly a revolution going on in the auto sector as you look at technology. You've also done partnerships with Google. You're investing in driverless cars. What will the car of the future look like, Joe, and how far away is that when you incorporate technology in there?
Well, you know, the next 10 years are probably one of the largest inflection points of the auto industry when it comes to technology, and that's why you're seeing so many new entrants come in and be interested in our space. You know, technology is allowing us to do things we couldn't do before. Talk about autonomy, talk about, you know, providing aids to drivers to make it safer. And certainly electrification is allowing for better fuel economy and other new dynamics in the driving. So you're going to see a lot of technology. Now, it's going to be 5 years or so before you start to see, you know, significant autonomous vehicles be able to test, and probably longer than that before they become very viable for sales. But there's no question that we're in a technology revolution in the auto industry, and Ford is very excited to be a part of it. And that's why we've spent so much time talking about our mobility part of our business and being a part of that technology, but also talking about the solutions about mobility around the world.
Yeah, you know, Mark Andreessen, the VC, the venture capitalist who invests in technology, told me about a year ago, in the future there will be 4 auto companies: Tesla, Apple, Google, and Uber.
Well, we may have something to say about that. We've been around 113 years, and we're proud of that fact. And clearly we need to continue to deliver what our customers want today and tomorrow. And we have one foot in today, and of course we have one foot in tomorrow. All
right, good stuff. And my answer to him was, well, you need a manufacturer, so I don't know where you're going with this. Joe Hinrichs, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much. We'll be watching this investment and what it yields.